Well, today's gotten off to a pretty good start, a little earlier than what I thought it was going to, but that ended up being good that we woke up a little earlier because one of the cousins just stopped by and dropped off a mess of greens. So I've got some greens I'm going to put up today too, which I'm excited about because that will be such a blessing to have on the shelf this winter. So I just thank God for everything that He does. And so today, this should be part 3, 4, I think of part 4 of our 8-part series on Wake Up. So hopefully I'll wake up and be able to do this. So this is the third thing. And so if you've not seen the videos, the 3 videos that came before this, back in 2015, the Lord began to speak to me that I needed to wake up, that He was calling His children to wake up, and that we needed to be alert, that there are things coming and we needed to be prepared. So for me, He gave me 7 things that I needed to do, that changes I needed to make in my life, things I needed to step up, not just for a season, but for the rest of my days, to get through the things that are coming, to be prepared, to be able to handle some of the things that would be coming my way. And like I had said in one of the previous videos, we've already, as a world, as you know, the entire planet, we have already experienced some things that we didn't know were coming, and changes that it has made in our lives. And so the third thing on the list before that he gave me that I need to do is to simplify my life. Now, I'm not telling you you need to do all these things. I'm just telling you what He told me, and a little bit of the testimony of what I've been doing and how that's been changing my life. So simplify my life. Oh, sounds easy, doesn't it? Should be. I don't know. I'm actually drinking herbal tea today instead of my coffee this morning, because I woke up like with something just wanting to build up in there. I go through this every year with the change of seasons. My sinuses and everything, and my throat just all kind of go, oh, they don't like it, but we'll be fine. So I've got, what have I got? I've got some purple dead nettle, some plantain, not the banana kind, but the weed kind that grows in your yard. And then I've got some oregano infused honey, and some freshly squeezed lemon. And I'm telling you, this ain't too bad. And it's making me feel better. So forgive me while I have another sip, but it's supposed to be coffee in the chat today. It's herbal tea in the chat. But you drink the coffee for me. Believe me, I'll be having some later. Okay, simplify my life. Whew, it's like, Lord, how do I share this with them? Well, it really comes down to like 3 things that I had to do. The first thing was declutter. And I didn't like get this sold. I'm still doing this. And I have a feeling that these are things that it's almost like a new way of living for me. So the first thing I had to declutter and work on, which I'm holding to pretty good, was my schedule. I've shared with you before that I've been through a lot of abuse in my life and other traumas. And so the abuse, I think, is probably a lot that has made me kind of that person that doesn't say no. I want to please people. I want to do whatever it is they want me to do. And I don't know if it's because when you're abused like that, you don't feel loved. You don't feel worthy of love. And you always feel like, well, usually in my case, I was always being told that I was a bad person, and that if I would just be better. And I was told this when I was very little, that the bad things that were happening to me were my fault, and that if I would just be a better person, they'd stop happening to me. And, and so that stuff really kind of gets in here and messes with you. So I've been the person that always wants to please everybody. So when somebody had asked me to do something, okay, even if it was killing me to do it. And so the first thing that God really convicted me of in my life with simplifying it is you got to learn to say no. and you've got to let some things go. I had things on my schedule that really didn't belong there. It was to make somebody else happy, and I had to start letting those things go and start simplifying my schedule. Um, and that has been really important because as time's gone on, with my husband losing his job and and both of us forced into early retirement and not having as much money as we thought we were going to because of other circumstances, it just came to a point where we have to work hard just at home just to survive. um, if we're going to eat good healthy food, then we've got to grow it, and we've got to can it, and we've got to get it on the shelves and preserve it. And some things I dry. I do have things in the freezer, but we're trying to get more and more away from that. So anyway, you've got to somehow put that food up, and that's a lot of work. Today, the main thing I'll be doing today is canning greens and making candied walnuts. Whole nother thing. That's for a treat to go in the freezer so that we've got a little snack thing ever so often, because I've got a ton of walnuts, and that's our favorite way. We already put some in some banana bread, and so now I'm going to do some that are candied. So again, putting stuff up for winter. To have the time to do that, I have to say no to a lot of things. There's some days I can't leave the house. I need to stay right here. You don't put a canner on the stove and walk off and leave it. Trust me, especially when you're pressure canning. So I keep really busy. My husband today, we've got storms coming in, and so we've got to, and temperatures are dropping rapidly, and there's massive rain coming, and so he's got to get a bunch of wood in the house today. We got the wood stove all ready to go because we've got, I think they said about 3 days to be prepared to be holed up through these storms. So okay, so we've got to have a way to keep warm, and if the electricity goes, well, we have a gas stove. I think I can light the burners with a match the old-fashioned way, if the electricity goes out, because it's got an electric start on it. But anyway, we've got to make sure we've got what we need going. So that's what today's going to be our main focus. We won't be going anywhere. We won't be hanging out, although my husband's still out there talking to his cousin that brought the greens. But like I said, it's early in the morning. So simplifying my schedule down to getting rid of the things on the schedule that just aren't necessary, that are hindering me from doing what I need to do. Decluttering my house. I started realizing, man, I have a lot of knickknacks, and that takes a lot of time just to dust, and a lot of times I don't even get to it. And and it's like, okay, some of this has to change, and we've got stuff that we're just basically storing it. That's not doing any good either. It needs to be someplace where it's of use to someone. If it's not of use to us, but it is to someone else, let it go. So a lot of that decluttering, which then brought me to the second thing, and that was that it's no longer about what's in style, or what impresses people, or keeping up with the Joneses. It's about being practical. So if something's not practical, then I don't need it. If it's not serving a purpose, if it's not helping. Now, I have some things, photos and stuff on the walls that they are serving a purpose, because like I can look over here, and my desk is over there. And over my desk next to the bulletin board is a picture of my husband that was taken at our wedding rehearsal, and that I just love, and that makes me feel all happy. And then underneath that picture is a picture of my mom and dad, and who I miss every day. And so that makes me happy. So it does serve a purpose. And there are some things that simply bring us joy. And even when we're having a bad day, we can just look at it and it brings back a memory or whatever. So that is serving a purpose. But then I had other things just because it's cute. So I do a lot of stuff, a lot of my shopping at yard sales and thrift stores, because that's more practical. And my husband and I were in some thrift stores one here last week. He just took a day, and and he goes, I'm not going to do any jobs. Can you just shelve everything for today? And I'm like, yeah, I could. What do you want to do? And he goes, we need to just go spend some time together. So we just spent the day. We took a break, and we went to thrift stores. We had a bunch of stuff we needed to donate anyway, so we went and donated that, and then we just kind of went to some thrift stores. And there were a lot of things that I was like, oh, I could get this just because it's beautiful, but it's not really serving a purpose. And I did find a few things, but they were things that we needed. They were things that will help make our life easier and help us get the job done. And so, that being more practical on things rather than just having stuff to have stuff, that has simplified my life a lot. So decluttering, practical, and oh yeah, the third thing was slow down. Slow down. See, I can get really I am a list person, and my lists, there's probably 50 things on my list, my to-do list for today. They're not going to all get done. It's ridiculous to think they would. So I choose one thing that is my goal. I'm going to get that done today. And like today, there's two because greens showed up, and so we got to take care of the greens, and that's fine because that's a blessing. But I wanted today, I've got to get to those walnuts I've been putting off. So today is going to be walnut day, so I'm going to get some of them walnuts taken care of today. But I pick those things, and then other things I'm working on. I still need to do some laundry and some dishes, and I mean that's forever. That's never done. So I will be working on those things too. But I kind of have, in simplifying my life, I narrow it down to one, sometimes two things that absolutely, that's what I'm going to do today. That's what I'm going to take care of. And instead of trying to do this rush. And then part of it too is because my husband's really good about watching over us. Like last week saying, we're just shelving everything today, and we're just going to have a date day, just spend the day together, because we need that. Sometimes we just kind of need to decompress. We have been so busy doing so much, and it's overwhelming, and he sees it, he feels it, he sees it in me, he feels it in him. And so it's like, okay, here's what we need to do. Well, like today is stormy. Otherwise, this morning it would have been, why don't you grab your cup of coffee? And because I'll grab my cup of coffee, I come in to do my devotions. I get started on my office work, and get the other things, whatever it is I've got to do for the day. I get things in motion. But sometimes he'll go, why don't you just stop for a minute and you grab a cup of coffee, I'm going to grab a cup of tea, and let's go sit on the porch together for a few minutes, which easily turns into a half hour, and sometimes a whole hour, because we get to visiting and talking and laughing, and and there goes time. But there's always going to be work to be done. There's always, and it's not a matter of, because we've got to get the work done, yes, but we've got to take time to just enjoy each other, just be together. And the last two mornings when we've gotten up a little earlier than we thought, than we had planned to get up, but you just kind of wake up, and even though you're tired, you can't go back to sleep, so you get up. And he has said, come with me, grab a cup of tea and come with me. And that's what we were doing this morning when his cousin showed up. And we go into our war room, which is, that room serves many purposes. We do go to war in there, but we go to war in the spirit. That's where we go to have our devotions together and to pray together and stuff. And so the last two mornings, my husband has pulled me into the war room first thing and prayed over me for the day. That is like, you guys, to me, that is awesome. That is a dream come true, that the way my husband is with me. So that, it's like, okay, I was in the middle, I was going to do this. You know what? I just lay it all down and go spend that time with him. We don't know how much time we have together. I have a dear friend, and she married when she was older. She had been married before, and then she was single for a lot of years. And then she remarried. And the man she remarried to was a wonderful man, and he was so good to her. They didn't fight, they didn't argue, and Marvin and I have never had a fight or an argument. We don't agree on everything, but we're very adult about it. We just agreed that we don't have to fight. There's no reason. We've had enough of that in the past. We don't want to fight with each other, so we don't. And so that's the way she and her husband were. And it was just, it was everything she had ever wanted in a marriage. And I believe he ended up passing away the day before their 10th wedding anniversary, if I remember right. And and I remember after the services, her daughter's a real good friend of mine too. I'm kind of between them in age, and so we had gone back to the house with her mom, and her mom was reminiscing, and they were thinking about all the things, how God blessed her with him and all, and she had said, you don't know how much time you have with somebody. And the one thing she did not regret was whenever he wanted her to just stop, let's just go do something. She said, I stopped and we just went and did something, and we just enjoyed being with each other and working together and sharing each other's company. Because she said if she had been all, no, I got to go do this and I got to go do that, because she didn't even have, she had 1 day shy of 10 years. And look at all that she would have missed. And that, that struck a chord with me when she said that. I hadn't found, I was single at the time, and if I was ever going to marry again, I wanted it to be somebody like what she had, a marriage like that. Not a guy necessarily just like that, but a marriage like that. And that's what God gave me. A year later, there he was. And so anyway, a huge blessing. And so, yeah, slow down, Angie, slow down. So those are the 3 things I've done to, trying to declutter my life. Even my hobbies, I've decluttered them. There was a lot of things I did, and it's like, I really don't enjoy doing this. Why am I doing this? Let it go. And just, making it a little more simple. And so the decluttering, what was it? I'm so tired this morning. The last one, slow down, I know you guys know what it is, and if you don't, we'll just run this back and find out. Practical. Keeping things practical and useful. All right, so that's it for today's. There'll be a new one tomorrow. So if you're not subscribed and you want to know what the 4th thing on the list of 7 that God told me to change in my life are, then if you're not subscribed, you need to subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that it will let you know as soon as my video comes up tomorrow, and then you can find out what number 4 is. And then after that, 5, 6, 7, kind of works that way. So anyway, I love you guys. I appreciate you so much. This will be a couple of days after I got Sharon's her little comment, because I said, hello to Sharon. I don't even know who you are, but your comments really blessed me. Well, it turns out I do know who she is. So she's a very dear woman. I've known Sharon for a while. I just didn't know that it was that Sharon. Sometimes with the the YouTube stuff. See, I know Sharon because her daughter and son-in-law are family to me. They're dear friends. But I don't think I ever knew her last name, to tell you the truth. And there's a lot of Sharons in the world, so I didn't know it was that Sharon. So Sharon, hey, how you doing today? I love you. All right, you guys, you have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.